272 in the 2022 NFL regular season is in the books, and the Buffalo Bills, my goodness, despite the high expectations, Super Bowl favorite, even though they haven't been there in 29 years. They went back to the site of the last Super Bowl, and they stuck it to the defending Super Bowl champions 31-10. And I will say this before I say good morning to Peter King. It could have been, and arguably should have been, a lot worse. Good morning, Peter.
Mike, I was just thinking that before, while you were rolling those, imagine if they don't, if Isaiah McKenzie doesn't hand an interception away in the first quarter, or in the first half, whenever that was, that there was so much about that game that's so interesting, but I'll settle on two quick things. One is that, Josh Allen picked up precisely where he left off at the end of last season. I mean, he is an absolute force. And, he hinted to me in training camp this year that he wasn't going to be as ready to take off and run. Well, I'm sorry. It's just part of his game. He's just like Lamar Jackson. You just can't take that away from him. It is what makes him so incredibly good. And the second thing is that pass rush. You could say what was more significant, the fact that the pass rush was ridiculously good for Buffalo, or the fact that the Rams protected terribly. And I think it's probably a combination, but I would go more with that Buffalo pass rush is going to be trouble.
And the thing about week one, you never know how good the team is that beat you. You never know how bad the team is that you beat. We don't know what the flaws and strengths really are of both teams because you need to play several games and see how they do against other teams and see how the other teams do. And then you figure it all out once you get into October. And right at the point where you think you've figured it all out, you realize you don't know a damn thing, which is kind of how it goes, which makes it fun. It makes it fun as a fan. It makes it very stressful as somebody who is expected to know, or at least have a reasonable idea of what's going to happen, because we never really do know. And I thought the Rams would be better last night. I thought they would. And I give them credit for hanging in there and taking some punches early from the Bills and tying it up at 10. But I don't know what Sean McDermott said or did at halftime, because and maybe it was the Ozzy Osbourne bump. I don't know. But whatever it was, the Rams stayed in the locker room. And the Bills came out and ran roughshod over them, and it was just done. Once they and again, this may be the Bills' defense, or it may be Matthew Stafford's elbow. But once the Rams dug a hole in the second half, it was like they couldn't do anything. They couldn't get the ball anywhere beyond 10 yards past the line of scrimmage. The chances of getting the ball down the field in big chunks hinged on Cooper Kupp breaking a tackle, which he did maybe once in the second half, and running for an extra 20 yards. They were never going to come back because it was all old school West Coast offense, sustained drives. The Bills were taking away everything deep, and I don't know if the Rams could have gotten deep. It just felt like a suffocation in the second half.
Mike, the other thing that just was so incredibly obvious about the domination in this game and the difference between these two teams is that it was always 2nd and 9 for the Rams, and it was always 2nd and 3 for the Bills. That's what this game, really a lot of this game came down to. The Rams were putrid in the running game, and that is going to be a big problem. If you can't hold up, if you can't protect well, and you're running for whatever it was, 2.9 yards a carry, if you're running for 2.9 yards a carry, that means your quarterback is going to have to carry the load the entire way. And look, Matthew Stafford, we know about Matthew Stafford. He is a very, very good player, and he played great down the stretch of last year. But here's the issue, okay? No quarterback can always have it be 2nd and 9 with a leaky offensive line. If it is, it's an absolute recipe for disaster.
Well, and you're right. And we expected more between Darrell Henderson and Cam Akers. There never really seemed to be a sustained commitment to the run. And if you aren't getting in more manageable situations for second or third down for that matter, it does become easier for that pass rush of the Buffalo Bills to get through that leaky offensive line. And at one point last night, Chris Collinsworth said, hey, maybe the Bills are creating a blueprint for other teams to shut down the Rams. Well, if you can borrow Von Miller every week, then maybe that will help. We need to see how that offensive line does against a lesser pass rush. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.